Today, we're going to talk about morning erections, which most of you likely use other terms to describe this phenomenal wake-up call. But even though these are quite common, it might feel a little bit mysterious as to why they actually occur. Is it always due to some exciting dream? Or is there more going on under the hood, so to speak? And more importantly, could this be an indicator of your overall reproductive health? Well, today, we're going to answer these questions by getting into the fascinating anatomy and physiology behind morning erections. We'll break down why they occur, what role your brain, hormones, and blood flow play, and whether they're a thumbs up for your sexual health or a red flag if they're missing. Plus, is there a female equivalent to this morning phenomenon? Well, let's find out by jumping into this anatomical and physiological awesomeness. Morning erections are also known as Nocturnal Penile Tumescence, or NPT. And these are spontaneous erections that happen while you're asleep or just as you're waking up. So they are not just exclusive to the morning. They can occur multiple times throughout the night, up to 3 to 5 times on average. But we obviously notice them more when we're waking up because we're conscious at that point. And these are not always triggered by sexual thoughts or dreams. In fact, they're often just a natural part of your body's overnight maintenance routine. I guess you could kind of think of it as the penis doing a little bit of its own systems check while you're asleep. But why do these erections actually occur? Well, it all ties back to your sleep cycles. And these erections are primarily linked to REM sleep, which is the dreaming phase where your brain is kind of buzzing with activity. And although these erections can be associated with a sexual dream, they again don't have to be. Because during REM sleep, certain pathways within your parasympathetic nervous system are activated. And the parasympathetic nervous system is nicknamed the rest and digest part of your nervous system. And it's also part of the nervous system that controls your erections. And many of you have probably heard that erections have to do with blood flow. And so this is probably a good time to review the mechanics of this increased blood flow that results in an erection. An erection is triggered by the stimulation of highly sensitive mechanoreceptors that are located within the tip of the penis called the glans penis. And as an FYI, glans just means acorn, which for any of you that have ever seen the glans penis before, which is probably most of you, if not all of you, you might be like, yeah, that name makes perfect sense. But the erection can also be triggered by stimulation from the brain, which is going to be the case for morning erections. This stimulus then causes nerve fibers from the parasympathetic division of your nervous system to send a signal into the erectile tissues of the penis, which we are going to look at those erectile tissues now within an actual penis. So everyone, you have been warned. This is a cross-section through the body of the penis, and you can see one cylindrical body below and 2 cylindrical bodies on top. The one below is called the corpus spongiosum, and this is a more spongy erectile tissue that the urethra passes through. The 2 erectile tissue bodies on top are called the corpora cavernosa, and these, as you can see, are a more cavernous erectile tissue with spaces or sinuses that we are about to learn are going to quickly fill with blood. So remember, I said that after stimulation of the glands and or the brain, signals from the parasympathetic nerve fibers will reach the erectile tissues, and this then causes nitric oxide to be released within those tissues. Nitric oxide is a powerful vasodilator, meaning it will cause the arteries of the penis to dilate or expand, which increases the blood flow to the penis, specifically to the corpora cavernosa, or that cavernous erectile tissue. And once the blood flows in, this will result in an erection. And so this is essentially what is happening throughout the night and in the morning. But one last thing I need to mention about this process is regarding the changes in blood flow that we just discussed. This is one of the most rapid changes in blood flow that can occur within the human body. And because of this, a person can go from flaccid to fully erect in as little as 5 to 10 seconds, which is quite the impressive physiological response. Now, I'm assuming that most of you watching this video are interested in your health. And so let me quickly talk about an awesome tool that can give you many incredible health insights, and that is the Hume Health Body Pod. The Hume Health Body Pod is a clinical grade body analyzer and is much more than just a bathroom scale, as it gives you a lot more information than just your weight. The Body Pod uses bioelectrical impedance analysis to scan and deliver over 45 metrics, things like skeletal muscle mass, body fat percentage, hydration levels, and metabolic age, to name a few. And one of my favorite features is that it breaks that data down into regions so that you could see how much fat and muscle you are carrying in your limbs versus your trunk, and even compare right and left sides so that you could potentially target any muscular imbalances during your workouts. Now, the body pod claims to be 98% accurate, and when I first started using the body pod, I was able to put that accuracy to the test because I actually had body composition tests done at a lab around the same time, and the results were nearly the same. So I've been using it for weeks now, and I've been logging consistent weigh-ins, syncing my sleep and workouts, and even setting milestone goals that I can track in the app. And as a bonus, the body pod is HSA and FSA eligible. So if you want to know more about your own anatomy, click the link in the description to check out the body pod. They are also having a monthly holiday sale of 35% off. And if you also use our coupon code, The Anatomy Lab, you can save up to 50%. So go ahead and start optimizing your health routine today. And now, let's get back to erections. Now, even though these erections can happen 3 to 5 times on average throughout the night, the last one, in the morning, might be the most robust or the fullest erection of them all, because hormones also play a role. Testosterone, the main male sex hormone, peaks in the early morning hours, often right around wake-up time. And this increase in testosterone can amplify the erection effect. Plus, other factors might also play a role, such as a full bladder pressing on nearby nerves, or even simple physical stimulation from sheets rubbing against you as you're moving around and waking up. But on to another important question. Are these erections a good sign for your overall reproductive health? Well, as we now know, having multiple erections throughout the night is bringing more blood in and out of the penis. So this is oxygenating the penile tissues. And the frequent expanding and shrinking of the erectile tissues can help maintain elasticity of those erectile tissues over time. So in short, yes, regular morning erections are often a positive indicator that things are functioning well in the genital region. And like I always tell my patients and adult students, a vascular penis is a healthy penis, because this again suggests healthy blood flow and a healthy cardiovascular system that is efficiently delivering blood to where it needs to go, which is crucial for erectile function. Plus, consistent morning and nightly erections shows intact nerve pathways and suggests balanced hormone levels. And studies show that men who experience NPT regularly are less likely to have underlying issues like erectile dysfunction. But with that being said, it is important to note that morning erections tend to decrease with age. Men in their 20s might have them almost every day, while those over 60 might notice them less frequently, with research showing that nocturnal penile tumescence can occupy up to 30% of sleep time in younger men, but drop to around 20% in older age groups, which is normal due to natural drops in testosterone and changes in sleep patterns as we age. However, it's worth noting that the timing of your sleep cycles can also affect whether you notice them upon waking. So occasional absences right when you wake up are not always a concern because you still could be having them throughout the night. But if they suddenly vanish or become rare, especially if you're younger, it could signal something worth checking out. Potential culprits include low testosterone or poor sleep quality. It could also suggest vascular problems such as atherosclerotic arteries from high cholesterol or diabetes, or even stress and anxiety can mess with the consistency of these erections. In rare cases, it might point to neurological issues or side effects from medications like antidepressants. So if morning erections have dipped and you're also dealing with erectile dysfunction during intimate moments, it would be good to discuss this with a healthcare provider. They might run tests for hormone levels, check your heart health, or rule out conditions like diabetes. But the good news is that much of this is treatable with lifestyle modifications like better sleep, diet, exercise, stress management, and in some cases, medications. But are morning erections only exclusive to males? Well, not exactly. Females have a similar phenomenon known as nocturnal clitoral tumescence, or sleep-related genital arousal. The clitoris is actually the homologous structure to the penis, meaning it developed from the same embryonic tissue. Like, there's a glans clitoris, which would be the tip of the clitoris. And the clitoris also has erectile tissue similar to the corpora cavernosa that was found in the body of the penis. And so during REM sleep, the clitoris can become engorged with blood, but obviously on a smaller scale compared to the penis. And so these tend to be less noticeable in females. But this leads to increased lubrication and sensitivity, much like the male erection. And this is driven by the same parasympathetic nervous system activation and helps maintain the health of the female reproductive structures. So yes, there is a female equivalent, highlighting how both sexes undergo similar overnight maintenance for reproductive tissues. And if that wasn't fascinating enough for you, morning erections aren't just unique to humans. Many mammals experience it, and spontaneous erections are even observed in male fetuses during ultrasounds, showing that we get started with these phenomenal wake-up calls at a very early age.